there's no stakes if I read least favorites and love the least favorites. Like, that's fun. Like, hee, we have different tastes. But like the opposite of that is I read one of Jan's favorite books of all time. And I hated it. I'm going in. I really hope that I love this for the sake of my friendship with Jan. I will have my listening ears on, trying to enjoy whatever it is. I am firmly planted in dogs and coffee on that axis. If you ordered Babel from Wish, a is what would show up on your door. I read 3 books that Jan disliked and 2 of Jan's all-time favorite books. Like, why did I do that? Nobody asked me to do that, and I just did that because I wanted to destroy our friendship. Hello, silly gooses. Welcome back to my channel. Or welcome if you're new here, which I feel like a few of you may be. I don't know how I got here, okay? Jan and I already have such opposite taste. Which actually it maybe means that this will be a success, because I feel like maybe Jan's least favorite books will really work for me, because historically the opposite has been true. That being said, if you're used to Jan or you're familiar with Jan and are like, who is this person? It's gonna be weird, okay? Jan is autumn, darkness, vampire queen, aesthetic queen, thriller, horror, fantasy queen. I am summer tie-dye, not vampire, silly goose, fantasy vibes, okay? Let me summarize. Jan is the quintessential black cat energy in all the best ways, and I will self-identify as a golden retriever, okay? Maybe not golden retriever. Where's my dog? My dog is like a shy, introverted Australian shepherd, and that is really, we are the same. That is me as a dog. Yeah, there she is. Come say hello to the people. This is Sunday. She's a silly goose too, aren't you? Yes. So, I gave Jan a list of books that I did not like. This is a series that she's created that I'm just hopping on with because I thought this sounded like a pretty damn good time. I sent Jan my least favorite books a while ago. I don't even want to try and find that in our message history, so it's gonna be a surprise to me as well what she ends up reading off of my least favorite list, but I know that there's some juicy picks in there. The like landmark that I think probably made her choose me as a not contestant, a test subject for her series is that one of Jan's favorite books is Addie LaRue. What is that book called? The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I know Jan loves that book. It just didn't really work for me at all. And it's okay, Jan and I still love each other. But I don't feel like I've really read much of Jan's other favorites. Not on purpose, just like we don't have a lot of overlapping taste, I think, on our own. So I'm excited for a reason to kind of have a little experiment, if you will. So she did send me a list of a bunch of books that she didn't like in the spirit of her challenge to read some of her 1 stars or least liked books. But also, I see your 1 stars and I raise you some 5 stars. I thought it would be fun unbeknownst to Jan, that I read a couple 1 stars and a couple of her all-time favorites and see where we land. You know, throw some controls in there while we're being scientific about it. So tentatively, I will be reading 2 of her least favorites and 2 favorites. I have not yet decided on the 2 1 stars that I want to read, but here's the options in no particular order that I'm interested in from the list that she gave me of books she did not like. A Deadly Education, Woman Eating, My Sister the Serial Killer, Book Lovers, A Cosmology of Monsters, and The Night Circus are like, I think I would have a chance at liking those. Except for Deadly Education. I did not like the other Naomi Novik that I've read, but I'm willing to give it a try if it's meant to be. And for the 2 favorites of Jan's, again, she doesn't know that I'm doing this, and I might regret this. I don't know what I'm going to do if I don't like these books. I might just delete this from the internet because there's only so much you could go through in a friendship, okay? There's only so many books you could disagree on. I know that Jan will disagree with me on that, but at a certain point it's like, why are you reading garbage? Why do you like garbage? Respectfully and lovingly, are you okay? I'm going to say that I'm going to read Normal People and A Dowry of Blood. I may regret this, but I think it'll be fun. If not now, like when am I gonna read those? So I just needed to start this vlog, but I actually have no idea what I will be starting with as the first book of this vlog. Because again, the only one of these that I own of any of the 8 books that I just mentioned is Book Lovers. And I guess I could, like I haven't read a romance in a little while. I could pick up Book Lovers, but no promises. I'll let you know in the next clip where we're going, but that's the setup of the chaos that we're cooking with today. Thank you for being here. I hope that you like it here. It's a weird time and we wear a lot of tie-dye, and that's really the energy. Okay, it'll be a surprise to me and to you. Hello. This is what we got going on today. Listen, this is just what it is, okay? The thing that no one tells you about having short hair and being neurodivergent is that when you want it out of your face, you just want it out of your face by any means possible. And so most days I get home from work and this is like a skincare headband, and I pretty much live in it. I think I'm gonna get some more. This is a frog one, obviously. And it makes me laugh so much, and sometimes I forget that I have it on and will like have people over for dinner or like have friends over or whatever, and I'll be like, oh, don't mind this. It's because I need to function. So just, you know, addressing the elephant, the frog in the room first. Just pretend that he's not staring at you, alright? But I did decide what I want to start with, and I think we're gonna pick an easy dip our toe into the water book with My Sister the Serial Killer, which the audiobook that I just got from the library is only 4 hours long. So we could knock that out tonight. I've got a little bit of my diamond painting left, which, listen, I thought diamond painting was so dumb, and I don't know, I just needed to be humbled because I finally just bought one. And it has been the most wonderful, fun little experience, and I will be getting another one once I finish this one. It's also a frog. I'll show you in a second what the diamond painting I'm working on. It's a frog with a banjo sitting on a skull, which feels very much like Jan on the bottom half of the painting, and me on the top half of the painting. So it just makes sense right now, I guess. So it's gonna be an audiobook and vibe with my diamond painting and my beverage kind of evening. Oh my god, it's been a long week, y'all. It is Friday. I just got home from work and I really need this weekend. It was a long one. My Sister the Serial Killer is gonna be a quick, easy first book of this vlog. It's only going to take me a couple hours. I don't even think I'll update you halfway. It's just going to be like I read it, here you go. And then there's a few more that I think will get into the meat and potatoes of the experiment. And I did text her and said, basically like, don't ask questions, but what are your 3 favorite books of all time? And I thought that it was going to be A Dowry of Blood, Addie LaRue, and Normal People. And Jan came back and said, let me see what order she put them in. Jan's order of top favorites of all time was A Dowry of Blood, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, which we've established that I did not like, and We Spread, which I am interested in We Spread. So that is a maybe. But A Dowry of Blood is a for sure. I just need to like track down a copy. And Normal People, I guess would be like probably her top 4 favorite of all time. Number 4 favorite of all time. So of the favorites, I'm feeling extra chaotic today with the flopping eyeballs. My Sister the Serial Killer. Let's see what we're in for. I want to say this is like dark satire. Like it's a super short book, as we've established, and it says it's darkly funny. A short, darkly funny hand grenade of a novel about a Nigerian woman whose younger sister has a very inconvenient habit of killing her boyfriends. I think this just sounds like a fun time. I'm really intrigued to know why Jan didn't like it. And it's already reminding me of a book that is giving me similar dark satire vibes. So if I'm right, we'll talk about that after I read it. But I'm gonna go get started on this and drink more of my adult beverage and work on my silly little diamond painting that they really got the last laugh on me, because those Instagram ads, they got me. They got me. It's really fun, y'all. It's a good time. I'll see you in a bit. I just have like this little section, but it's this frog on a skull. Literally the Jan section and the Noelle section. I did not even plan that, but you know. Also, if you had no idea what I was talking about when I said diamond painting, I feel like I've just seen them everywhere, like in my Instagram ads and stuff, so I just assume they're everywhere, but it's basically like a paint by number, except with like little rhinestones, and your little canvas is like a big, like sticky sheet, and you just match little rhinestones to the little colors, like a paint by number. It's paint by number with rhinestones. That's it. Rhinestone painting. And it is truly oddly relaxing.
There's a fire dancing in my flame, tranquility. Is anybody here beside me? It's possible I make believe. As long as I can feel your body, it doesn't matter if it's
Hello. I have some updates. I did read My Sister the Serial Killer in like one sitting while I finished my diamond painting. Oh, not the glare. Like, this is the most Noelle Jan amalgamation that I could have ever dreamed of. It's perfect. I didn't even plan for this to be in the vlog. It's just happened to be when I finished this, you know? I also already ordered the next one, which I'll show you in a second, because we're going to start it with my next audiobook, and it's a much more pure Noelle vibe. But anyways, so as I was finishing that, I read My Sister the Serial Killer. The book is like 4-hour audiobook, which means it's like a 2-hour read for a double timer like me. My takeaway from this book is like, yeah, that was cool. That was fine. It was whatever. I enjoyed it, but it didn't blow my mind. And I just don't feel like I have a strong reaction at all, because it was like, yeah, good. Lukewarm thumbs up to My Sister the Serial Killer. And I don't know how you can have a visceral dislike for this book unless you're like separately going through something, or it's just like not the right time to read. It's a dark comedy. At the same time, I have a pretty good track record with dark humor. This book felt like a super bite-sized baby version of like a love child between the Bandit Queens and Patricia Wants to Cuddle. Thriller because like they're murdering people, but it's through the lens of the big sister of the killer kind of being like, oh man, my sister killed another of her boyfriends and now I have to go like bleach my car because she doesn't know how to clean that well, so I have to go help her. It's just kind of like, oh, here we go again, and you're in the head of this kind of reluctant big sister, like, what am I gonna do? Woe is me. Like, that's the book. I thought it was fun, but I don't know. I'm interested to know why Jan strongly disliked it, you know? Because to me it's like, yeah, that was 2 hours. I feel like that was 2 hours of my life. I'm happy with spending those 2 hours on this book. So overall, a 3.5 for My Sister the Serial Killer. I have so many things in front of me right now. Okay, we did that book, we did the diamond painting. I have some books to haul from Pango because I could not find the audiobook for Woman Eating, and I think that this is gonna be a good read for me, which could bite me in the ass. But of all the books on this list, with maybe one exception, this is the one that I felt the most confident, like, yeah, I'll go out and buy that. So I hit up old trusty Pango Books. I found a copy of Woman Eating, and then this is where Pango gets me every time, is there was like a spend X amount of money and you get free shipping, which my brain is like, every time, sure, I'll spend an extra $20 to save $6 on shipping. Like, I know that it's silly, but that's, you know, that's some girl math. It feels like a win. So I did get Woman Eating, which is, I know, one of Jan's hated least favorite books, even though it's like a vampire. I think this is like literary fiction vampire story, which feels like my jam. I don't know, I just feel like I'm gonna like it, but we'll get to this. From the same Pango shop to get my free shipping, I got 2 books I'd never heard of. Why do I do this? I don't know. One is The Wolf Den by Elodie Harper, which at first I was like, ooh, it's a mythology retelling, which I'm already a slut for a mythology retelling. But upon further research, it's a historical fiction, and like, obviously with many, many creative liberties, but it's historical fiction about women that lived in the city of Pompeii. And I just visited the ruins of Pompeii last summer, which was gonna be in a video that I just never got around to editing, but I will still this year get around to editing my Italy video, which will include my Pompeii tour. So it was just a really cool and powerful and just truly magical, spectacular moment of that trip, and I had no idea that people were out here writing historical fiction about people that would have maybe lived there in the city of Pompeii, ancient city of Pompeii. So it's called The Wolf Den, and that's literally all I know, is that it's people in Pompeii, the book, and it's large. So we'll get there eventually when we get there. The other book that I bought is called Red Herring Hunt by V.M. Burns, and I just realized right now when I opened up this box that on the inside cover it says, don't miss the first mystery bookshop mystery. So I did the thing where it's not the first in a series and now I have to go find the first in a series. But I think it's gonna be good because it's a cozy mystery with dogs. I feel like every cozy mystery I see is like cats and tea. And nothing against cats and tea, but I am a dogs and coffee kind of a gal. As far as the quadrant goes of the X and Y axis being cats and dogs, and the X-axis is cats and dogs, the Y-axis is coffee and tea. I am firmly planted in dogs and coffee on that axis. So I feel like this is the cozy mystery for me, and if there's more than one of them, that's fine. I'll track down the first one. I don't even actually know if this is a cozy mystery with dogs. I just made a lot of assumptions based on the dogs on the cover. Genuinely. So I may have really put myself in a pickle, but that's a problem for future me in a different video. All of this to say, these are the 3 books I just purchased secondhand so that I could get a copy of Woman Eating, which is not the book we're gonna read next, because I decided I want to alternate least favorite from Jan's taste list. I read a disliked read of hers, My Sister the Serial Killer, and the next one that we will read is Normal People. I'm nervous to read Normal People. I don't know if it's gonna be the one for me. I just have not been in a contemporary mood, but I'm willing to get into it. I just haven't read a lot of contemporary recently, so I might just be a little out of my wheelhouse, at least to start with. And I did get the audiobook in, so I think that will be a good experience to kind of immerse myself into it as I go on to our next craft. Normal People, here's the thing. Sally Rooney fans are like cult-like, and I mean that in like a positive way. There's just such a voracious and fanatical fan base. Like, they are like ride or die for Sally Rooney. And I am a little bit afraid of that. I'm a little bit afraid of that, because what if I become that? It could be. Maybe it's just like a level of self-protection that I haven't dipped into Sally Rooney yet. I don't know. I am curious to know why this is a favorite of Jan's, because I know she has it ranked pretty high up there. No vampires to be found, you know, which speaks volumes for Jan's favorites. If it's that good and there's no vampires, it's gotta be pretty fucking good. So I'm willing to see what the hype is about, but I know nothing about it. I think it's just people being normal. I hate myself. So I'm gonna start that while I start this silly new diamond painting. This is what ADHD does to you, okay? There is no question that this is the hyperfixation of the moment. Comes like this. Sorry, I know the plastic is super annoying. Okay, so there's all my little beads and colors that I'll need. This is the one that I got after much deliberation. Much deliberation. I have probably 4 or 5 others in my cart that are next in the lineup, but I went with Sunflower Pig. 'Cause look at him. It's just very summery and silly, and like, what else are we here for, okay? So this is the next project. I'm about 5 minutes away from starting this with Normal People. May or may not finish that in the course of this vlog. My experience with Banjo Skullfrog was that it takes like way longer than you think it's gonna take. So it might just be a fixture on my desk for several weeks, and that's fine. It's just gonna be done when it's done. The other thing to tell you about is I did take some B-roll of me making this super woo-woo collage box, which is something that I talked about in a vlog that I don't think I ever posted. So what am I talking about? I gotta get it together. This is a box, just a plain box, because I have the millennial affliction of box hoarding, and I don't know why we do that, but I just have these boxes around my house that stuff comes in, and I'm like, the gremlin in my brain is like, that's a nice box, we should tuck that away, we never know when we're gonna need a nice little box like that for my trinkets or whatever. Well, the day finally came, and I decided that I would collage it from magazine clippings to be a phone jail for this this crusty bitch. The other thing that I have in common with most millennials is that I spend entirely way too much of my life on this little square of glass, for better or for worse. There is lots of good stuff that comes out of this, but I would really like to not spend as much of my waking hours as I do staring at it. So I made myself phone jail, finding the time. And this is super extra and super woo-woo, and I just gave myself permission for that to be the case, because if it is fun and silly, then I think I'll be excited to like use it. So we made phone jail in like ransom note style, and then I put all these other things around it. So it unflaps this way. This says unearth opportunity and opens like this. On this side it says it's a little hippy dippy out here, which is really hitting the nail on the head. This just says world. I don't know. It just fit perfectly there. So she goes in here, and I have this like little butterfly dish towel that is just my little phone bed. Now she lives in there, and I can do whatever else I want to do. So that's my woo-woo project of the week, of the moment. And I'm excited about it. I think that I'm going to give it a good college try and see if I actually use it and see if it's helpful. And if it's not, then I just made a cool craft for no reason. And that's fine. I think that is my update for now. I'm gonna go start Normal People and start Sunflower Pig diamond painting experience. Okay, bye.
Yesterday I told you I think that we made a mistake, 'cause you and I, we lost our sight. It's all about give and take. I don't wanna see when you're at parties with Ollie and the others. You know I really got along with him and your family. Your ex did Did we do it right? You know, no. Did we speak from our hearts so we could make it right without a fight? You know, no. Imagine what would happen if we did it right. It got me spinning round, round. 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 I'm standing here in plain sight. Still it doesn't seem like you see me. I hate everything about this night. Doesn't matter what I do can get to you. I don't wanna see when you're at parties with Ollie and the others. You know I really got along with him and your family. Your ex did barely say. Did we do it right? You know, no. Did we speak from our hearts so we could make it right without a fight? You know.
Shit. Shit. I knew that this was a risk in reading favorites and least favorites. Like, there's no stakes if I read least favorites and love the least favorites. Like, that's fun. Like, he, we have different tastes. But like the opposite of that is I read one of Jan's favorite books of all time. And I hated it. Oh, I'm so conflicted. Okay, I finished Normal People. I don't even know where to begin. First of all, I understand what this book is trying to do. Normal People, you're following these two young people through like their early 20s, basically, like their senior year or their last year of high school through college, and like maybe their first year after college. It's like a 4-year period. There's a bunch of time jumps. You kind of go back and forth between the two of them. Marianne in high school is like this complete loner, weird kid. No one really understands her. She doesn't really make any attempt, to be liked by the other kids either. Like, she doesn't really care. She doesn't care to be understood or liked in her high school, and that kind of makes her this like pariah. Then you have this like football star, Connell, who is very much well liked by all the other kids, and they end up having this friendship because Connell's mother is the housekeeper for Marianne's, like, mansion, basically. So in high school, they develop this tentative friendship, which turns into more than a friendship. It creates all these issues, and then you follow them every several months across several years. And the point of the story is they are just normal people figuring out how to be adults and how to deal with their shit in life. Like, I understand what the book is doing, is that it's about the way that two people trying their best can impact each other's lives accidentally and or on purpose, for better and or for worse. Like, you can hurt people, you can help people. You can hurt people on purpose, you can hurt people on accident. You can help people on purpose, you can help people on accident. That's true for all the relationships in your life all the time as you go through life. And you don't always get to know what is helpful or hurtful to the people in your life. And I understand that that's the point of the book. And it was pretty powerful as far as, like, delivering that message. But fuck, it was so frustrating to read. It was such a hard read because the whole book is just the two of them misunderstanding and miscommunicating for just 8 hours straight, 300 pages straight, whatever the page count is. And it is just infuriating. I didn't really like any of the characters, which is, again, like, that's the point. They're not supposed to be likable. They're not supposed to be characters. I get it. But that doesn't mean that I need to like it. And I ironically think that I will enjoy the TV show. I think this would make actually great TV. I think you could accomplish more of what it's trying to get across in kind of a smoother, more entertaining way, without it being a really frustrating experience as the consumer, as the reader. So I am actually excited to watch the TV show and see if I feel differently about the story, but reading this book, I did not enjoy the experience at all. So I'm giving Normal People a delicious 2 stars. And I feel bad about it. This is my first Sally Rooney. And I posted on Instagram that I was reading this book and feeling weird about it at about the halfway point. And you would not believe the state of my DMs after that post. It was like a confessional. Just all these people coming out of the woodwork in the comfort of my DMs to say, oh yeah, I don't know, I didn't like it either, but I feel like it's so popular and so beloved. And I'm like, why do we do this with popular books? Like, it's okay. It's okay to not like the popular books. I feel like actually when a book becomes this popular, it then becomes in vogue to hate on the book, you know, because then you're not like the other readers, which is gross, and I don't like that either. Like, it's okay to just have different opinions. Like, if there's one person that I actually do feel pretty safe publicly disliking one of their favorite books, it's Jan. Like, the whole purpose that she started this, like, series on her channel is to prove, like, make a point that you can still be friends with and love your friends while actively having very different opinions on the books that you read. Like, duh. So we're off to an interesting start where I thought one of her least favorite books was, like, actually fine. Like, it was mediocre. I didn't have, like, a strong dislike reaction to My Sister the Serial Killer, but I didn't have a strong I loved this reaction either. Normal People, one of Jan's favorite books of all time, I strongly disliked, which means that we're 2 for 2 in Jan's favorite books being big misses for me, because I also strongly disliked The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, as I mentioned, which makes me really, really nervous to read A Dowry of Blood. I know that's Jan's favorite book of all time by a country mile. I know she's read it again and again and again. I know it means everything in the world to her. So that is not the next book I'm reading. I need some time to prepare for what may happen and become of our friendship. Just kidding, but like, you know. So in the meantime, we're going back to Jan's dislikes, and I will be picking up Woman Eating by Claire Coda. And this is funny because now this is a vampire book. And I always get this book mixed up in my head with A Certain Hunger. Like, the covers look similar. They're both, like, litfic vampire books, I think. And I think Jan likes one and doesn't like the other. I think, which means means she likes A Certain Hunger and doesn't like woman eating. But I can't, the two of them in my head, I just know that they're both litfic vampire books. Like, I don't know what makes them different, like, what's different between them, or why she would love one and hate one, you know? And this sounds like my kind of weird. It's like this young vampire who's trying to make her own way and go out to live on her own for the first time after living with her vampire mother, and she is like craving all of this human food, but she can't eat it. She can only consume blood, and she is also an artist, I guess, and so the story, like, I already know, haven't even cracked the first page, I already know that the book is about a hunger as a big metaphor. And on this channel, I do love a big metaphor. So I feel like it might go okay for me, and this experiment is just weird. I guess if Jan dislikes anything, I'm getting ahead of myself. I don't know, this is pretty short. I just had the courage to give this update after showering after a long day, and Wes won't be home until late tonight, so I feel like I might just put on some cozy ambiance, maybe see if anyone's doing reading sprints, and take a bite out of... I'm so funny, I didn't even plan that. I'm gonna take a bite out of woman eating. See how far I get, because I feel like I could probably knock this out in a couple sittings. I did make some headway on our sunflower pig diamond painting, but like I was saying before, those things take a lot longer than it looks like it takes, so that's just going to be an ongoing process. But I think for this one, I'm just going to cozy in and see where we get, and then I'll let you know. So far, I haven't really done any, like, midway updates, so that's probably the vibe. So the next time that we'll talk, we'll have some answers. Okay, bye. I finished Woman Eating, and I thought it was quite charming. I thought this was pretty good. I don't know what about it. I just had this instinct, like, yeah, this sounds like I might thoroughly enjoy this. I'm giving this a 4 stars. It's such an interesting, strange little book. I understand, I think, why Jan doesn't like it. So I guess in the name of this project, like, we are on track. But I thought this was quite fun. It's about Lydia, who's like, in human years, she's like a 20-something young woman who's trying to be an artist. She's trying to, like, make friends in the human world. She's dealing with her mom, who's also a vampire, is kind of dealing with some, like, vampire health problems, and Lydia is just constantly feeling like she doesn't belong anywhere. She feels super, super lonely and just deeply hungry and like an outsider constantly. And this book is about power and identity and influence and art and desperation and obsession, and I thought it was really good. I thought it was a really good read. It reminded me, let me be clear, this book is kooky. And sad girl, like, she's pretty pathetic, like, most of the book. She's kind of this pathetic, like, I'm so sad and powerless character. But, I really liked where it went. I don't know. There's something about strange little sad books like this with, like, an obsessive twist that historically works pretty well for me. It reminds me a lot of YN. Where is... I have that right here. Okay, so I just took a second to take down all of the books from my weird shelf that have similar vibes to women eating, as far as like kooky and twisty and strange and surreal, and have this like obsessive or unhinged or like sad girl kind of vibe to them. And we have quite a pile, and I don't keep books that I give less than 3 stars, so this is a pretty good track record. I'm just gonna quickly go through, if you also happen to like women eating, this is the rest of my 3 stars and above weird girl, sad girl, unhinged, obsessive pile. We have A Special Place for Women with, I think I read for Jan's book club a couple years ago, so I found this to be a similar vibe. The Atmospherians by Isle McElroy is like a failed health influencer starts a cult to reform toxic men in the woods, and it goes off the rails. No One Is Talking About This is just a fever dream of 200 pages, but it's just like, it's so weird and it's so good. Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead. It seems like it's just this old lady living in this like remote naturey village who loves animals, but it's actually super dark and weird, and you just have to trust. And I think this is kind of a divisive book, but I really loved it. Patricia Wants to Cuddle is dark comedy. I think I talked about this when we talked about My Sister the Serial Killer. Like, it's campy, it's weird, it's wild, it's out there. I thought this was a hoot and a half. Here's YN, or Your Name by Esther Yee. This is about a woman in Germany who becomes, she just is like not excited about the way that her own life and her own career is going, so she becomes obsessed with this Korean boy band, this K-pop band, and one member of that band in particular, and her obsession goes from like, I enjoy consuming and writing fan fiction about this band, to the furthest extreme of obsession that you can fathom. And I really felt like these have similar energy, so maybe try YN if you liked women eating, or vice versa. The Memory Collectors by Kim Neville. This is probably the tamest of this pile, but this is about a woman with like a strange power that she can pick up any object and sense like the emotion or memories associated with the previous owners of that object, and it puts her in really interesting situations or with other people. And I don't ever really hear anyone talk about it, but I really enjoyed it. Last on this pile, also really similar, kind of like unsettling, weird vibes, is Breasts and Eggs by Miko Kamakami. This book is so hard to describe. It's really kind of 2 small novels in one. There's the breasts part and the eggs part. It talks a lot about like expectations placed upon women, and like body autonomy, and like beauty standards, and reproductive standards or expectations. And it just really blew my mind again and again in very odd and interesting ways. And also, after I finished this book, I realized it's blurbed by Ruth Ozeki. It says, absolutely brilliant, tragic, funny, eccentric. Coda takes the vampire trope and makes it her own. Ruth Ozeki. And Ruth Ozeki wrote, well, she's written several things, but the only book I've written of Ruth Ozeki is the Book of Form and Emptiness. And this was like my best book of the year, of maybe 2022, I think, the year that I read this. This book is gigantic, but so good. And is more sad and surreal than it is weird and unhinged, but still such a good read, and I can so see like the vibes. Like Ruth Ozeki, I could so see how she as a writer would enjoy this too. So this vlog is going a little bit too well, and I feel like I need a redemption, like an olive branch, you know, to see that at least we do agree on something. So I'm gonna, what I think is going to be a gimme is I'm gonna put on the audiobook for A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik, because this is on Jan's least favorite reads, and I think I could probably take it or leave it. I don't think I would ever reach for this book otherwise outside of some purpose like this, because the only other book that I've read... Hi, Sunday. The only other book that I've read from Naomi Novik is Spinning Silver, and I hated Spinning Silver. So this is like my last chance with Naomi Novik. I know that it's like a magic school, magic competition, dark academia, first in a series, so it has a lot of ingredients that I otherwise should like, except that I've previously hated one of this author's other books. So I'm kind of hoping that I dislike it just so I can say, see, we do agree on some things. Because I'm really scared to read Dowry of Blood. I'm not gonna lie. At the rate that this vlog is going, I'm so terrified. So we're saving that for last. I really only intended to do 4 books, but I just am procrastinating at Dowry of Blood. And also, I don't know, I think I need a break from the vampire. You know, I need a vampire palate cleanser in between Woman Eating and Dowry of Blood. So that's gonna be our dark academia. I hope that I dislike A Deadly Education. I will have my listening ears on, trying to enjoy whatever it is. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Oh, hold on. I was gonna grab my little pig diamond painting. One second. I just wanted to show you because I was working on this while listening to the audiobook for Woman Eating, because ironically, mostly what she eats as a vampire, mostly what she eats as a vampire is pig blood. And so it just so happened that I was working on our little pig diamond painting. It's kind of hard to see, but I'm like about almost halfway done with our little sunflower pig friend. So I'm working on this like cute little pig as she's talking about like glugging down pig blood for sustenance. So that was interesting, but anyways, things are great. I'm out of breath from running across the house just now. I'm gonna try A Deadly Education. Cross your fingers for me that I dislike it. That would be great. Honestly, that would be great, because then Jane and I can continue to be friends. Just kidding. But kind of. A Dowry of Blood is gonna be the real... We can't even think about that. We're gonna do Deadly Education. And then we're gonna... Then it'll be the real test.
Yeah. Just appreciating life. You know? I've been listening to birds cry. I've been viewing from a bird's eye. That's why I always keep my third eye open. I'm focused. If it's real, you know it's gon' come back. This that season, but there's no comeback. If you let go, then please don't run back. Cause if it ain't love, then we don't want that. Yeah, that I got bigger fish at the fry. Like, who gon' take care of my family when I die? So they can't say I failed with knowing they never tried. Let's put our ego to side and tuck an eye in the pride. We force our past to collide, now we traveling worldwide. Some people think I'm fake, cause I ain't never reply. But that well is run dry, the people I used to confide in. Thought they was riding, but it was feelings they was hiding. You tried it, now I'm thinking wow, cause I thought that you was solid. Could've been making money, but you steady making problems. Could've been here with us, yeah, but now you in them comments. You was wildin'. If it's real, you know it's gon' come back. This that season, but there's no comeback. If you let go, then please don't run back. Cause if it ain't love, then we don't want that. Yeah, we don't want that. don't want that. We don't want that, cause if it ain't love, then we don't want that. All the sacrifices that my parents made for me, I return it all, you could get the world from me. Stay the same, make it big, can you still love me? Will you still want me? Cause just like you.
Hello, I finished Deadly Education, and it went about as well as I thought. So I feel like I kind of rigged it in a way, but I just needed to be sure. I needed to be sure. I hated this book. Maybe hate is a strong word. I just feel like this book really thinks it's doing so much. This book really thinks that it is creating a new genre. It's doing new things. It's dark. It's edgy. And like, this is so fucking Disney Channel. Like, the Deadly Education is so bland and safe and easy cheesy. Like, there would be a scene where, like, a student would get eaten by one of these scary monsters, and it's obviously supposed to be like, ooh, dark, students are dying. But it just doesn't, for some reason, that was really not the tone. Like, it just was not landing like you were supposed to care. Like, it was not landing serious at no point. At no point was I was like, oh no, the stakes are real. I'm scared. This is intense. What's gonna happen? This is so dark. Like, not good. Not good. If you wanted it to be dark academia, it was not that. It was Disney Channel dark academia. This was Wizards of Waverly Place up 5%. That's really all that I got from it. Also, just like, I could not suspend my disbelief. I love a wizard school. Okay, I'm here for a wizard school. I'm here for, like, dark academia, but this was not... You're telling me there's not a single grown-up? There's not a single adult in the wizard school, and all of the students, like, no one is causing trouble? All of the students are all disciplined enough to go to their classes and study and do their homework and behave. And the whole book, the explanation for that is like, yeah, because if you don't, the monsters get you. Like, I just wasn't buying it. I will absolutely not be continuing the series. There's also a lot of really interesting critiques about the way that different people and different races are portrayed oddly throughout the book. Like, there's all kinds of different cultures represented to various degrees, from harmful and racist to, like, maybe okay, but, like, I just don't understand why we even tried to go there. Like, if you were trying to say something about privilege and power and inequity in, like, a magical wizardy way, like, you could have done that way better. One of, like, the main points of the book is, like, how you can be set up for privilege and have a lot of privilege that a lot of the students are not aware of going into the school, or they take it for complete granted, like, not recognizing privilege they have from coming from, like, big wizard families, wealthy wizard families, allied wizard families that have, like, generations in history of, like, famous wizards or, like, powerful spells that they pass down to their kids to be more prepared, better set up for success going into this really dangerous school. And those kids ally together, and, like, it creates this power, like, hierarchy within the students of the school. And the other main character is, like, hyper aware of that and is kind of trying to subvert that and talk about it with the other students who are just kind of like, no. I see what it was trying to do as far as that particular piece of the plot goes, and I don't feel like that landed how they thought it was gonna land either. I don't feel like it did much. I don't think it needed to come from this book in that way. It just felt like it was trying to do so much and patting itself on the back for doing so much. Like, no. This book was a great value off-brand version of, hold on. If you ordered Babel from Wish, A Deadly Education is what would show up on your door. Because it tries it tries to kind of unpack what Babel did so beautifully with language and translation and different magic and different power coming from different parts of the world, and how, depending on who has access to those languages, that affects who has access to certain magic and certain skills and certain abilities, and how that all gets wrapped up in privilege and power. Babel does that beautifully. If you want a book that actually unpacks what systems of oppression could look like as far as like colonization, racism, classism, all of these things in a dark academia fantasy setting, that would be Babel. Like, Rebecca Kuang has already done that. And I know that A Deadly Education, I think, came out first, but like, this is, you don't need to look further for that. This is that, as far as the language, the culture, the different inequalities, the different systems of oppression, how wealth and power and like a global force, even capitalism, like academic systems feeding into all of it, like that, this is the book for that. And if you're like, that's cool, I just want a really good, actually dark, actually gritty, actually academic, dark academia fantasy, that's Vita Nostra, babe. No one talks about Vita Nostra. Some people talk about Vita Nostra, and those are my people, but I need more of you to be reading Vita Nostra before we talk about dark academia. This is everything. This is everything. It's confusing in a good way, because like they're academics studying metaphysical fucking wizard shit. It's dark, it's scary, it's eerie. It has everything that you want from a dark academia, and this is it. So this is what I wanted. And A Deadly Education was a really, really far miss from where the bar is for me. So that's okay. It's going to be a generous 2 stars. I might lower it to like a 1.5. But right now it feels like a 2 stars. So that's 0 for 2 on Naomi Novik. I'm losing my light because it's like 8 o'clock and Wes is working late, and today is June 25th, which is his half birthday, because he's a Christmas Day baby. So I like to celebrate his birthday on June 25th. He would prefer to just not celebrate his birthday, which makes it even more fun for me. And because he's working late, I have a plan. I want to make dinner and pumpkin pie, because he loves pumpkin pie. Just for fun. You know, just for fun. Just for sillies. And I was like, oh, but what am I going to make for dinner? And I just went out into the garden, and I swear... I swear these 2 gigantic big-ass zucchini were not there 12 hours ago. So we're going to do something with zucchini. I think I'm going to do pasta and then pumpkin pie for dessert. And I know that I'm supposed to read A Dowry of Blood. I know that that's next on the list. But before that, because I'm still stalling, I do have Amari and the Great Game from the library. And after reading A Deadly Education and being like, this is a really shitty wizard school book, I want to read a good wizard school book, which is Amari and the Night Brothers. And I still haven't continued the series, so it's due in 6 days. So unrelated to Jan, but, you know, happening in the same timeline. I am going to start Amari and the Great Game. And then after that, for sure, we're going to do A Dowry of Blood. It's just going to happen. But right now, Amari and cooking dinner and making pumpkin pie. Okay, bye.
We've been on and off again and again. I don't know which way we're going, no control. You push me, then you pull me back in. Don't know if I can decipher how your mind works. Yeah, you leave me wondering what it's like to feel your skin. I will keep on trying till you give me a sign. Give me a sign. Oh, give me a sign. Baby, give me a sign. Just give me one more. You leave me hanging, begging for more. Think that I'm addicted to this, can't resist to be a little risky and go for it, cause I want you close. I'm so exposed when you're keeping me wondering. You know I'd do anything to be in your arms again. So give me a sign. Give me a sign. Oh, give me a sign. Baby, give me a sign. Just give me one more talking to you. Here we go again, staying up all night to see if you've been texting me. Where do we go from here? I wanna go all in. So give me a sign.
Hello. I think last time we spoke, I was like maybe starting Amari, and I am less than halfway through Amari and the Night Brothers, and I think I'm gonna pause because I need to, my dog is crying. You okay? Okay. I need to finish this project. You know, Amari was kind of a sweet bonus / productive procrastination throw-in, and I just got a Dowry of Blood in the mail today because I decided I want to do this book, Jan's favorite book of all time, the most Jan way possible, which is to annotate and tab and keep track of quotes. And here's the thing. Here's what you need to know about me. Is 1, I'm not really an annotation girly. 2, when I do, it's like I will highlight or underline. And I occasionally use tabs, but I have no tabbing system. I know there's all these like really smart people that color code their tabs with like interesting things or different reasons that they're tabbing based on the color of the tab, and like that's cool. I do not have the brain capacity for that while I'm reading a book. I just can't do it. So my tab strategy when I get the itch to do a little tab action is it's just vibes. It's vibes. I feel in my heart and soul that whatever section, moment, quote, paragraph is worthy of a tab, and I slap the tab down. That's my tab system. And furthermore, I was just running around my house looking for my tabs because I couldn't even tell you. Sorry, I'm sweaty. I've just been in the garden. It's a really hot day. I couldn't tell you the last time I tabbed a book, period. And like probably not since before we moved 6 months ago or so. And I think they must have disappeared in the move because the only tabs that I could find are these, which are like Magnum XL jumbo size Post-it tabs. And I'm not even saying like this kind of tabs are the only tabs I have. This little packet are the only tabs that I can find in my house. They're light blue. It doesn't really go with the vibe, but it's what I got. It's what I got. We're gonna make it work. I do have a pink highlighter. I really like these like Tombow brush pens to use as like my highlighters because it's a double whammy because it's a pen on this side and like the brush highlighter on this side. So I've got pink and blue and black and red, and that's the type of chaos that we thrive in over here. It matches my shirt. I guess this is the vibe. This is pretty much outside of my normal comfort zone, and that tracks. I'm going in. I really hope that I love this for the sake of my friendship with Jan. I just threw on some lamb chops onto the smoker because I just wanted to cook a nice dinner. Like I just had the feeling, you know? Wes has been working a lot the last several weeks. Honestly, the last several months. It's been a lot for him at work. And I just was like, you know what? It'd be cool to do a nice thing for my partner and make a meal that I know that he likes, because I don't usually cook meat. I don't eat a lot of meat myself. Like I will eat meat. I'm just picky about it, and it's very rarely the majority of my plate. Like meat is rarely the entree of my plate. I don't know why I'm over explaining this to you. It doesn't matter. Usually my diet is like 90-10 vegetarian and meat. I do eat fish. Whatever. Anyways, I think that he will be excited and surprised that I'm cooking like a nice lamb chop dinner. I fucking put in my Instacart order because I was gonna make, I really like fennel, and I was gonna make this really yummy, like, fennel, like, summer fennel salad and, like, smoked lamb meal, and then my Instacart order showed up without the fennel or the apricot that I planned the whole course around. So fuck it, I improvised with different side dishes, different accoutrement, you know, and we'll go from there. So now I'm doing a celery and lemon side dish salad situation. We'll see. I'm sweaty. I gotta go turn the AC on. I'm gonna start reading this. It's not quite cool enough outside to read outside, otherwise I 100% would. But I think I'm gonna just go sit under the AC and vibe with my Diet Coke, Dowry of Blood, and my tools of the trade. We'll see how it goes. Cross your fingers and toes for me. Okay, see you in a bit. Hey, doggy. Oh, God.
Hello, Ramona. I can't shake the simplest feeling beyond the ghost. We stand on the opposite shore. Hello, Ramona. I reach through mysterious ceilings, my only hope. I look for the things I don't know. I stand alone. Show me where the ending goes. Honestly don't. I should be the last to know. We're all in this. I stand alone. Show me where the ending goes. Honestly don't. I should be the last to know. Hello, Ramona. I mistook you for a dream. The engine glows, and I guess you always seem to know. Hello, Ramona. I push back the serious feelings.
So
The end's unknown.
I can't believe I did this to myself. I knew this was a possibility, and now here I am facing the consequences of my own actions, and I don't like it. Okay. Jan, this is for Jan. Hello, love you, read your favorite book. I read it. I read it. And you can stop watching this video now. Please go away now. I'm being a little bit dramatic because I didn't hate it. It didn't exactly work for me. I hate that I didn't like it. I hate that I didn't love it. You know, I really wanted to be like, yes, taste. I also love it. I recognize the taste. I have the taste too. But also, I guess the point of this experiment that she's done, or like the series that she's done, is like, it can be a good thing to read friends, to read from friends that you think you do have different taste from or opposite taste from. I just watched her video. She was able to post it before me. And like 2 out of the 3 books that she read of books that I hated, she ended up like really loving. So this is a successful experiment, and it's okay to have different opinions from your friends. This is me talking to me right now, hyping myself up for this. Because A Dowry of Blood gets a solid 3 stars from me, which is not a bad rating, but I was hoping I would feel a lot differently about this book. 3 stars. 3 stars is just fine. I feel just fine about A Dowry of Blood. I think I tabbed it 4 times. I don't even know if you could see the tabs in here. Which, you know, we knew that would happen. What is that? 5 tabs. 5 tabs. I highlighted some things. I tried to be an annotation gal. I don't think I'm an annotation gal. It gets a 3 stars for me. Like, what do I want to say about this book? Here's everything I like about it. I love the writing. I think that this is a really beautiful and very lush writing style. I love that it's written in second person. It's written as a series of letters from one of the characters. I don't even know if I talked about this book before, but it's like, it's Dracula's spouses writing to, one spouse in particular, writing letters to him, like addressed to him, but they never ever say Dracula's name in the book. And so it's the story of their lives from the perspective of his first wife through when she turns from girl into vampire, and then the centuries that come after, and all of the ups and downs and complications and toxicity and things that go on. And it was interesting. I loved how it was written. I thought the writing was by far the strongest and my favorite thing about this book. And I will totally be up for reading more S.T. Gibson because I love the writing style so much. This is what I don't think that I liked about it. And this feels like just twisting the knife right now, is I just don't think that I'm a vampire girly. which sucks so much to say, because 1, this is Jan's favorite book of all time. 2, vampires are like that's like the whole thing. That's her whole thing, is vampires. So for me to be like, Jan is my friend and I don't like vampires, is like, who the fuck do I think I am, you know? That sucks to have to be faced with that truth in my life right now. I did enjoy the dynamics between the characters, and I understand what was going on with like the complexity of the relationships and the power dynamics between the characters, and so much like conversations about like a abuse of power and abusive like relationships and toxicity and manipulation in relationships, just like splash some immortality and vampirism on top of it and call it a day. I get it. It's like normal people all over again. Like I get it. I see it. I know and recognize how this is important to so many people and why so many people love it. I just need to accept that I am not one of them. It's fine. I really struggled with this book because the whole thing with vampires is like they're immortal, so they can live lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes, but like why do they still act like children after thousands of years? And that's not to be dismissive of the like actual real shit that the characters are dealing with and trying to navigate, but just like, if you've been around for 500 years, you got some wisdom. And like putting that in perspective of my 28 years, and like I feel like I'm an okay problem solver, but like if I had 500 plus years to scheme and problem solve, I don't know, I just wasn't really buying it. I wasn't really buying it. I wish I had something more profound to say. And it's not that I didn't like it. I just didn't love it. And I almost wish that I had hated it, so that at least I would have some kind of like passion one way or the other. But I truly just feel like, yeah, that was a book I read. An okay read. Yikes. So that's Dowry of Blood. I don't know how to end this video. I read 3 books that Jan disliked, and 2 of Jan's all-time favorite books. Like, why did I do that? nobody asked me to do that, and I just did that because I wanted to destroy our friendship. How would I rank these? I think my favorite, ironically, after I said I'm not a vampire person, so maybe this is a splash of redemption. Of the 5 books that I read for this vlog, Woman Eating is my favorite of the vlog, which is like the one vampire book that I think Jan didn't like, so opposite taste. That was a 4 stars. I'm happy with that book. I enjoyed that book. I will totally read more sad literary fiction with vampire metaphors. Like, that worked for me. I don't know what it was. Next is probably My Sister the Serial Killer. I don't know, on like entertainment, enjoyment, refreshing factor, I felt like that book, there's not a lot that is doing that in kind of this like dark comedy, tongue-in-cheek way. It's a quick read, it's a fun read, it says what it wants to say, it packs the punch it's trying to punch, and it cracks jokes along the way. Like, I enjoyed that. I can't remember if I gave that a 3 or 3.5 now, but those were my top 2 favorites, which were 2 books that Jan strongly did not like. Then, coming in third, squarely in the middle of the 5 books that I read, is A Dowry of Blood. So, you know, nice even Steven. 3-star rating in the middle of the pack in the lineup, okay? That's as good as I could do. As good as I could do. I was entertained. I enjoyed very much the writing style, but the story itself and the way that the characters were written from the start, not even like their character journey, just there's the characters themselves, it just didn't work for me. It just didn't click, and I'm devastated about it. But we're just gonna leave it at that. And then the 4th would be, now I'm already forgetting what I read. The 4th would be, I guess, Normal People. I guess. And then last would be the other fantasy that I read that was actually garbage. Gosh, I can't even remember what it was called. Naomi Novik, whatever that Dark Academia was, but those are pretty close. Those I feel very strongly down here in the bottom. Dowry of Blood and My Sister the Serial Killer are also in a pretty similar tier. And then Woman Eating is like definitely the bright spot of the books I read for this vlog. So thanks for that one, Jan. That was a success. I really did enjoy the book that you didn't like. And I'm sorry that I didn't enjoy the books that you deeply, deeply love. Thank you for giving this video a shot, especially if you are new to my channel or came from Jan's channel and tolerated my shitty opinions about all of her books. Welcome to the chaos. It's a really different vibe from Jan's vibe, and that's kind of the point that we have established, but I'm happy that you're here. I'm being along for the ride. This was a really fun experiment, and I'm glad that Jan gave me the push to try something like this, kind of tailgating on her series that she does, but I don't know if I want to do more of these because there's only a handful of people that I feel like I could like actively shit on their favorite books, and it would be like no big deal, you know? So I just gotta think about who I would be okay with doing that with, and we'll go from there. I gotta go host some reading sprints for the Tarot Readathon, and probably crack a beverage and some snacks, and I need to then edit this video because I'm already just so far behind. But thank you for being here. If you want to catch up with me elsewhere, my Instagram is @Noelle7pages. And I have a newsletter that I'm about to update this weekend, if you're watching this video when it goes out, called The Sillyverse, where I talk about life and silliness and random things under the sun. I think that's all my rambling for the day. So thank you for watching. Give your dog a big squeeze for me, and I will see you very soon. Love you, bye.